it was just at the highest level of illegal, life-threatening, uninsured. And whenever something's not allowed on Jackass, like I go ahead and film it. We're likely to see the Jackass franchise rear its ugly head.
Well, hanging with us tonight is a guy who has had quite the life, and most of it has been lived in the public eye. And now he's continuing to share some stories, moments, and more from from his life in his latest comedy tour, the Crash and Burn Tour. Steve-O, thank you so much for being here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. And yeah, man, we're almost at that halfway point where Jackass just celebrated our 25th anniversary since
That's
the
crazy,
premiere of
man.
the episode. Yeah, and that's almost half my life.
What runs through your head? Because yeah, you shared that on Instagram on October 1st, the 25th anniversary of that first episode on MTV. What ran through your life when you came across that anniversary, man?
Ah, I mean, we saw it coming, and we had had a number of Zoom calls and stuff to figure out different ways to commemorate it. What we landed on was a bit more ambitious than timely, but this next year we're likely to see the Jackass franchise rear its ugly head.
Awesome. Yes. Celebrating the milestone of the 26th anniversary, it sounds like.
That is probably the timeline that we're going to be on.
Right on, man. Well, I mean, listen, people listening, know you from a number of different places. Likely, just like me, my first exposure to you was in Jackass in the early 2000s. That led me to finding some of your earlier videos and things you put together, and then it just made me a lifelong fan, man, watching everything you've done and been part of since then. But all that being said, as much of a fan as I am, I've never seen a live comedy show from you. And so I'm curious, man, as someone who knows you from something like, 25 years of Jackass, what what's expected? What can be expected from the Crash and Burn tour?
It's like an extra naughty Jackass movie meets a stand-up comedy show.
All right.
Um, and like it's been a natural evolution. I started doing stand-up in comedy clubs in 2010, and I've been on the comedy circuit for 15 years now. When I taped my first comedy special, it was just me and a microphone and what happened on stage. And as I prepared for the second one, I was putting that show together. I thought, wow, all these stories that I'm telling happened on video. So what if for my second special, I edit the video footage in post production to illustrate the act? And I got so excited about that. And at the end of that tour, I taped that special and it came out as a multimedia affair. And then at that point, when I started working on the third hour, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to stop telling old stories and I wanted to bring the multimedia component on tour so that it was a multimedia show. And that's when things got serious. And at that point, I had really developed my muscles as a production company in my own right. And I went about filming my third show, which was Steve-O's Bucket List. And it was just at the highest level of illegal, life-threatening, uninsured, like
Yeah.
all of it. I had medical professionals administering stolen anesthesia drugs like in the field while I was doing I had general anesthesia bike ride. Like I had the epidural foot race, like pretty like high level wild stuff. And my last two multimedia comedy specials stream completely for free with no ads at my website. All you have to do is click I am over 18. For a
Pretty
very
important thing. Yeah.
super important because particularly my last comedy special, Steve-O's Bucket List, wasn't just messed up. It was legitimately triple X rated. Like I actually blew a load on camera, um, simultaneously as I fell out of an airplane.
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of the precedent. If anybody's interested in what the format looks like, I direct you to stevo.com
Perfect.
to watch these, filthy, messed up, multimedia comedy specials. And what the Crash and Burn tour is the follow up to that. This is will ultimately become my fourth comedy special, and at this point, I've found my stride, man. And
Yeah.
each show has been markedly better than the last, just by the virtue of experience and growth, and and I just get better at what I do because I do it more. This show is I mean, I want to be careful and not call it a masterpiece, but I don't know what else I could have done to make this show any
Yeah.
better. If you like Jackass, you're gonna love this.
That's amazing, man. Do you, and I know you've been asked this before, whether it's with stunts or performances, but just hearing you talk about the evolution of your comedy show and the experience, I mean, do you hit a point where you're like, I don't know what more I can do. I don't know what more I can offer.
For sure. Yeah, I set the bar so high with the bucket list that I was properly daunted as I began working on this show. It took a full like 2 years to get it into the kind of shape that it needed to be in to really reach that level. And by gosh dang darn it, it's there. Like now all the anxiety is like what am I gonna do next?
Yeah.
And that's a good place to live your life, thinking, oh my God, I've painted myself into a corner. How am I gonna outdo this?
Yeah. No, that's a pretty good problem to have, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and yeah, you've already done several shows in Canada, gearing up for shows here in the States, back in Canada in 2026, and it sounds like you're feeling pretty good, man. Like at this point,
Yeah,
plenty of shows ahead, but still feeling really good.
man, like it's just what it's all about, man. Like knowing that I've got a show that's worthy, that's just awesome. Like it makes it like a very fulfilling, pleasant experience to go out on stage and you know be touring with it.
I'm sure this is something you've thought about plenty over the years, and especially as the show has evolved and taken shape into more than just stand up. That it's this whole
Right.
encompassing experience. But that's got to be, and I don't mean this to sound so basic or obvious, but that's got to be such a different rush to do that night after night on stage in front of an audience compared to the rush you get from filming something where there might be a small group of people who react, but you don't get that full reaction until it
Yeah.
airs.
Yeah. For sure. I think that the reality is that I'm just an attention whore through and through at my core.
However you
And
get it.
yeah, however I get it, like I honestly, that's just what makes me tick. So I don't know that I differentiate too much. But it is interesting that 15 years ago when I started headlining comedy clubs, my mission was to establish myself as a stand-up. This was going to be my future with longevity. I was going to prove all the naysayers wrong. I was going to like forge my path and learn this new craft. And I could argue that just by the virtue of the fact that I kept making it around the circuit on return loops, that I did prove myself. Like if there was no merit to what I was doing, I would have fizzled out and not even made it around the circuit, let alone continuously for 15 years. So in that regard, I suppose I achieved a modicum of success, but at the same time, the way that it all evolved, uh, proved to be less the safe, longevity route of I'm just going to stand on stage and talk, and it more like kind of evolved back into Jackass, except more dangerous. But at least the level of the bar is so high that it's not like a question of like going out to do this night after night. Like I got to do everything one time. It's utterly absurd that it happened at all, and I take the footage, and that's what
Yeah.
becomes the show.
Right on, man. I love hearing that. And hearing you talk about that, painting yourself in the corner, setting the bar too high, all of that. When you talk with, your colleagues in Jackass,
Ah,
and when you guys are, talking about maybe doing something in 2026, uh, is it like, are you guys just constantly trying to one up the other, or are people looking at you and like, damn, Steve-O, you're setting the bar way too high for all of us?
um, I don't think that anybody views like what I do as like competitive, like
Yeah,
when Jackass is actually in production, which has been you know sporadic over the last 25 years. I mean, that's what we owe our longevity to, is the fact that there were only four movies and over the course of 25 years.
sure.
So, when Jackass is actually active, like, nothing trumps that. And, the combination of all of us together, like we know that, like, the level that we're operating at. And, what I do separately, for my own solo career, if you want to call it that, uh, it's something that nobody views it as competition, and everybody's super supportive of it. I recently had Knoxville come out to the show. He appears he's in the show itself, and super supportive. So it's awesome, man. And whenever something's not allowed on Jackass, like I go ahead and film it
I was gonna
for
say, yeah.
myself.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you've been good at that over the years, man. Um
I have.
listen, man, we're a rock and roll show, and I know you've been a fan of rock for a long time. And rock is obviously a major part of the fabric of Jackass too, not just the connection to MTV, but the music in the
Sure.
show and
Oh
all
my
of that.
God.
If I'm not mistaken, man, and I think I've read this, I think I've heard this. You saw and met Motley Crue when you were 13 years old. Is that right?
100%. Yeah, I was living in Toronto. They were coming to Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens in 1987 on their Girls, Girls, Girls tour. I was 13 years old. I saw in the news that they were in town and having gotten in some kind of trouble. The news was complaining about them, and it was the day before the concert. So I deduced that they were already here. The concert was the next day. So I took that to mean that they were in a hotel in Toronto. And I made it my mission to find out which hotel and track them down. So I ran to my music collection. I pulled out all my tape cassette sleeves looking for the name of their manager, which of course was Doc McGee. Every album said that. I went running to the yellow pages, the phone book, and I opened it up to a hotel. And I just went about calling every single hotel in Toronto, asking to be put through to a room under the name of Doc McGee. And sat there for hours and finally got through. And it was Doc McGee's brother, Scott, who answered the phone. I asked him if Motley Crue was there. he asked me how I got the number. When I told him that I had called every hotel in the Yellow Pages trying to track down Motley Crue, he was so impressed. He said, "Dude, that's awesome. How would you like backstage passes?" And that's how I got my
That's
photo
amazing.
taken. Yeah, it's pretty rad, man. It was a formative experience in my life.
Yeah.
There was something about perseverance and tenacity that that experience spoke to me of the potential for perseverance and tenacity in life.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's obviously not like a physical stunt, but just what you have to go through of getting no, no, no after phone call after phone call after phone call,
Right,
but all for that moment of
for
bam,
sure.
did it, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I on some level, I attribute that experience to empowering me. Like I like to argue that it made me a monster, and that just sheer determination to will shit to happen
Yeah,
is something that's characterized like everything I've accomplished in my life.
that's amazing, man. All goes back to Motley. I mean, when you were 13, were there other bands like that you would have gone to those extremes to meet, or was Motley the it for you?
Um, I mean, like Motley was much more than music to me. Motley was just that rock stardom, like all the debauchery, all like the lifestyle, like that's what it was all about for me. Like I went on to say that it was when I was 10 years old, my first Iron Maiden album taught me that I was a metalhead. And then when I was 11 years old, my first Motley Crue album taught me why I was a metalhead. And then when I was 12 years old, my first Slayer album taught me how bad the situation really was.
That's amazing. I love that, man. Oh man, that's so good. Well, listen, I got to ask, and you can imagine we've talked a lot about Ozzy this year for a lot of
Sure,
different reasons, man. First
of
half of the
course.
year, all positive, exciting as we were looking forward to his final show, and then of course these last few months, it's been still celebratory, but much sadder as we keep paying tribute to him. I know
Yeah, I mean,
you've,
the people I know who, had a relationship with Ozzy seem, like I think I hear people describing that they weren't sure if that final concert was going to be a concert at which Ozzy performed or like a memorial to remember him. It seemed like
yeah,
pretty evident that he was, near the end. And I mean, there's just nothing to be sad about, like
that's right.
Maynard, you know, Maynard performed at that last show with Tool. He described it as a master class in scheduling and attending your own wake.
Yeah. That's right, man. That's right. No, we talked to Maynard before and he was saying exactly that. It was, just like I'm, hoping for the best, but planning for the worst. And then we talked to him after and I thought, I mean, I was fortunate enough to be in Birmingham at the show and I thought Tool just had
Oh wow!
one of the coolest performances, man. And yeah,
Yeah,
just to hear Maynard talk about that and yeah, oh, look at that, man. I love that. That's awesome. I got a ring from the
yeah,
Great
amazing.
Frog. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's great, man. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Of course, it's sad, but it's not because there's no other way that Ozzy
it's
could have left this planet than that.
it's 100% not sad. Everybody dies.
Yeah,
Um, it I mean, sure, like like there's grief and loss, Sharon, his family, like, of course, it's sad that he's not around for them. Um, but such is life, man. And like you
Yeah.
just can't do it you can't do it any better than that.
That's right, man. Well, and then too, you see sort of like what's next, right? And you had Youngblood on your podcast. We've had Youngblood on the show, and you just see like, oh no, like this lifestyle, this idea of Ozzy, like it's gonna be okay.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, dude, icon. Like
Yeah,
we lost Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan like mere days apart. And one of them was universally beloved.
yes,
That,
simply put,
that particular week, I mean, both of them were icons,
no
icons, but
question.
right, but one was universally beloved. And that week, it struck me. I was asking my buddies, like, um, who else lands in that category of universally beloved? And I would say the top two that come to mind are Mr. Rogers and Dolly Parton. And beyond that, like Ozzy, I think you gotta universally love Ozzy.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh like I think that it's early to say, but I think Post Malone is kind of forging that path. I think everybody
yeah.
loves Posty.
Seems like it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just very, very few people who kind of have that level of adoration and reverence.
yeah. Did you ever cross paths with Ozzy?
I did.
Yeah.
We bumped into each other at the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. I was so excited at the time. I had my knuckles tattooed. With like my right hand said shit and my left hand said fuck. And it was totally inspired by Ozzy. I kind of felt like I was making Ozzy proud. It was like the next level. I got my knuckles tattooed like him, but even crazier. And that was like my approach to everything. Like I wanted to party like Ozzy. I wanted to like just be more like out of control. Like it. Ozzy was a big deal for me. And again, like more than the music. Like the
Yeah.
the mystique. Of course, his music just God, this music's good, man.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, timeless for sure. And defining. It's just absolutely defining.
Yeah, I mean, it's
What
that
did
that struck me too. When Ozzy passed, like my crew and I, we just didn't listen to nothing but Ozzy for like
yeah,
a week, and I was just struck time and time again, like wow, what a musical legacy.
yeah, that's right, man. What did Ozzy say when you met him at backstage?
Now, I wasn't sober at the time.
All right.
I'm gonna guess the year was 2004. Um, we got a photo together. It's not a particularly flattering photo of either of us. It was a chance encounter that was brief. Um, I, it was a big deal, but
Yeah,
it wasn't particularly memorable for
fair enough.
any conversation that transpired.
That's good, man. Well, listen, you've hinted at the celebrating the 25th anniversary of Jackass sometime next year, perhaps. Crash and Burn taking you through this year. You've got dates already in early 2026 too. Are
Yeah,
you
you know
thinking
what?
about what's next? Like, is that how you
Yeah,
kind of operate?
yeah, like actually the this week I'm gonna film. I'm planning on filming the very first bit for whatever the follow up to Crash and Burn is. It's important to me that I it's such an arduous task to put together a show like this. Like
Yeah,
there are 45 different videos that are peppered throughout. It's just rapid fire insanity coming at you, and everything needs to be super high level, like exclusive, never before seen. And I'm trying to get a head start on socking away some footage towards that, and that'll begin this week.
Awesome, man. Well, can't wait for all of that, and can't wait to see what's to come. Steve-O, thank you so much for hanging with us tonight. Congrats on the success already of the Crash
Ah,
and Burn tour, and so much
dude,
to come, man.
I stand by my Crash and Burn show. Like, if you're a fan of Jackass, you're gonna fucking love it.
Awesome. Listeners, get everything you need. Get the full schedule, everything. See these specials. Make sure you're 18 at stevo.com. We'll keep you posted here on everything going on at Loudwire too. But man, thank you so much for being here. Such a privilege to get a chat and truly not blowing smoke. I've been a fan since that first day 25 years ago on MTV. So appreciate this and hopefully we can hang again soon, man.
Yeah, man. Likewise, brother. Really appreciate you. And that's that hoodie you're wearing, sick.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah,
I appreciate the time, man.
I am, man, for sure.